Hi guys, I wanted to share with you the Wild Woman Oracle, Awaken Your True, Free and Soulful Self by Cheyenne Zaretti, I believe it's pronounced. On the back it says, Awaken Your True, Free and Soulful Self. The essence of the Wild Woman Oracle is feminine, dark, witchy, wise, mystical, spiritual, whimsical, authentic, educational and empowering. The essence feels like the dark feminine, which is loving and compassionate, yet honest, direct and powerful. Throughout mythology, folklore or contemporary tales about empowering female figures who embody the wild woman in their own unique ways, the Wild Woman Oracle will awaken you to your true, free and soulful self. These wild woman stories, the losses, the victories, the lessons learned, will help begin to rewrite your own story. You'll see how all your experiences, especially the difficult, dark and uncertain ones, are alchemizing into gold, into the invaluable wisdom, fierce self-respect and keen joie de vivre of the wild woman. So this includes 36 cards and a guidebook. Now, this is a deck that I purchased only a few days ago. It is a deck that I looked at and I had told myself that I wasn't buying any more decks. I've got more than enough decks in my collection. But I picked it up, I put it down, I picked it up, I put it down. I continued to pick it up and put it down about 6 times, I think it was. I even put it down and walked around the shop and ended up coming back to it and picking it up again. So I decided that I was going to honor the connection that I'd already made with this deck before I purchased it, and I put it into my cart and I went through the checkout and I brought it home, and I'm so glad I did. I love the back of these cards. They are reversible, which I think is fantastic. I love it when cards are reversible, even if the guidebook or the cards themselves aren't designed to be read that way. It gives me the ability to do that, which I really love. Now the guidebook is quite robust and it has a lot of information in here, which is great. It says in the beginning that for many years, Cheyenne had an unhealthy relationship with all aspects of herself, from her body to her personality, sexuality and spirituality, for many different reasons such as cultural conditioning, familiar trauma and toxic relationships. She had completely lost touch with her authenticity, which in turn resulted in low self-esteem, poor boundaries and people-pleasing tendencies. One day the universe jolted her awake and she was able to find her way forward, and she created this beautiful deck. How to use these cards. The cards celebrate inspiring feminine figures from myth, folklore, popular culture or history who embody the wild woman archetype. The guidebook tells the story, explains the symbolism inherent in each tale and each card's artwork, and shares the messages. Now the Wild Woman Oracle is a tool for self-reflection, self-awareness and personal and spiritual growth. Now we have a look at the cards and I was blown away from them. I love that they have this black edging, and obviously the back of the cards is predominantly black. They have this real deep depth feel to them, and when you turn them over they have this tone here, which is like a copper tone to the cards, black and copper with a tiny bit of white around the edging of each image. It has a really deep, soulful feel to it. And the images in these cards have so much going on. There's just so much symbolism for you to be able to link in and become familiar with. So this is number 1, Rewilding with Grandmother Moon. And as you can see, the wolf is here and they're howling at the moon and she's down by the river. Here we have Lilith, the first feminist and autonomy. And I just absolutely love these cards. So I have found that they are a deck that I'm going to read the guidebook to be able to understand the symbolism a bit better than I would normally. There is so much going on that I don't want to miss the messages that are hidden within these images, that I need to be able to read the guidebook to understand it better. I do believe that this is a deck that's going to add such depth and flavor to a reading. It's really going to be something that I will use probably for my self-care and shadow work. I don't have a deck that I use for that area, and I really think that this is going to sit there perfectly. It is a deck that I will create a video for in the future explaining how I'm using it and how it's actually working for me, but I can already tell by the energy of the deck and the way that it has me really thinking and feeling inward that it's going to be a very powerful deck. And I absolutely love it. I hope that you are inspired to go and check this out. It is absolutely beautiful. And as I said, it was a deck that it's not my normal style. It's not one that I would normally purchase. It's not one that I would normally have in my collection. And I had promised myself I wasn't buying anymore. So for it to land here and be in my home is a true miracle. And it is something that I'm so glad that I followed the energy trail and brought home with me.